scientists! It's so good to see you again. Welcome back to Room 9, our region's largest classroom. My name is Mrs. Stobbs and I teach kindergarten in the Maplewood-Richmond Heights School District right here in St. Louis. And today I'll be teaching a science lesson for kindergartners and for preschoolers, but of course learners of all ages are welcome to join us. And before we get started, I want to send a special shout out to my kindergarten class, the Snacking Scientists. Hello, Snacking Scientists! Now to everyone else, my class decided they want to be called the Snacking Scientists because one, they love science and they can't wait to learn about a lot of different science topics. And number two, they're always snacking. Whenever we have our Zoom meetings, they're always snacking. And so we decided that our team name would be the Snacking Scientists. Isn't that fun? So hello, Snacking Scientists. I'm so glad that you're here watching me on TV. All right, well, last week we learned a lot about the sun and how it affects the earth. We learned that the sun can make different parts of our world hotter. We learned that standing in the sun will make you much hotter than standing in the shade. And we also learned that what you wear can affect how you feel in the sun too. Well, this week we're going to continue to learn about the sun, but we're going to focus more on shadows, on the shade or shadows. Have you ever played with your shadow before? Have you ever watched it as you've been walking outside? Or maybe you've made shadow puppets before on your wall? It's pretty fun, and we're going to do a lot of learning today about shadows. So are you ready? It's going to be a really fun time. All right, well, my friends, do you see my shadow behind me right now? I don't really see it. Maybe it's very faint. And if I scoot back a little bit closer to the wall, oh, I can kind of see my shadow. Do you see it right there? I see the shadow of my hand. And if I even lean closer, oh, you can see my shadow behind me. But it's not really that bright, or it's not really that dark. So I wonder what I could do to make it easier to see my shadow. Do you have an idea? What could I use to make my shadow easier to see? What about this? It's a flashlight. Do you think a flashlight would help? I think so too. Let me test it out. Oh, wow. Look, you can really see my hand now. I can even make a little puppet. So fun. But you know what? It's also a little bit bright in here, right? So how about we turn off the lights? Ready? Here we go. It's so dark in here. But now let's test out our flashlight. I have my flashlight right here. And let's see what my shadow looks like now. Wowee! It's really easy to see now. Oh, and I can really make it talk. Boop, 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 boop. And if I even shine it kind of on myself, I don't want to shine it in my eyes, but if I shine it on myself, you can see my shadow behind me. Oh, you can really see it over on that side. It's hard to see on the camera. Wow. So my friends, I think we know now. I'm going to keep this light right on me. I think that we know now what we need to make a shadow. We need light, but we also need it to be kind of dark too. So we need some light and we need something to make our shadow, like my hand. And we also need a surface to put it on. Because if it was totally dark, do you really see my shadow? Oh, I can see a little bit because I still have some light coming from my window. But there's not a lot of shadows right now because it's so dark. And if you were in a completely dark room, you wouldn't be able to see a shadow. So we know now that we need light, we need something to make the shadow, and we need a surface to shine the shadow on. Wow. So my friends, let's do a little bit more learning about shadows. I think we might need to do a little bit more learning about light and about shadows. So let's read another book. But first of all, we need to turn the lights back on. So awesome. All right, my friends. So I have a book that we're going to read today, and it's called What Are Shadows and Reflections? And it's going to teach us a little bit more about shadows because we know what shadows are. We can see them and we can play with them. But why does it happen that way? And why does the amount of light affect our shadows? So let's read this book. What Are Shadows and Reflections? A Light and Sound Waves Close-Up book. And it is by Robin Johnson. And the publishing company is Crabtree Publishing Company, and they gave me permission to read this book to you. Oh, and look, there's another table of contents that shows us where all the information is in this book. What is light? Light is the brightness that shows you the world around you. It lets you see the butterflies and flowers outside. Light lets you play with your cars and trains inside your house. It helps you find treasures in caves and other dark places. Light really brightens up your day. Without light to see, we would have to rely on our other senses to figure out our world. What are the other senses? We already said see, but if we didn't have light, we wouldn't be able to see. Hear, smell, taste, and touch. In the dark. Dark places do not have much light. It is hard to see in the dark. When the sun goes down at night, our world gets dark. You turn on a flashlight so you can find your way to your campsite. You turn on the lights inside so you can see the milk and cookies you eat before bedtime. What clues in these pictures show that it's light or dark outside? What do you think? I can see the more colors in this picture. I can't really see many colors here. And also, it looks like there's lots of shadows behind them. Where does light come from? There are many sources of light. A source is the place where something comes from. The main source of light on Earth is the what? The sun! The sun is a huge ball of hot gas in the sky. Its light shines down on the entire world. It gives light and heat to all living things. Shining lights. Light bulbs are another source of light. When you turn on a light in your home, a light bulb glows. The light bulb helps you find the flashlight you need for your camping trip. The flashlight helps you get wood in the forest to make a campfire. And the fire is a source of light too. Have you ever had a bonfire before or a campfire? It gives you some light. And also what? It gives you heat too. It's really hot by a fire. Or maybe you might have a really cozy night at home and you might have a lot of candles on. And you have to be careful if you have candles on at your house. But it does provide light and heat. And candles also sometimes make your house smell really good too. Light waves. All light sources make light waves. Light waves are rays or beams of energy that our eyes see as the colors of the rainbow. When we see all the colors together, light appears white. Light waves travel quickly from their source. They move in straight lines until they meet up with matter. Everything is made up of matter. Matter is anything you can see or touch. So light is really a rainbow, and the reason why we see a rainbow is because the light is shining through the water droplets and it breaks up all of the colors of the light, and then we see all of those beautiful colors. When light waves meet matter, the matter absorbs some of the light. To absorb is to soak it up. For example, a red wagon is red because the wagon absorbs all of the color in the light waves except red. The color red is not soaked up, so we see it on the wagon. And here, the oranges are soaking up every color except for what? Orange. So that's why they look orange to us. Light bounces. When light hits matter, the matter reflects some of the energy in the light waves. To reflect is to bounce some off of something. The light bounces from object to object right into your eyes. Bouncing light waves let you see the world around you. Not all things that shine are light sources. The moon lights up the world at night, but it is not a source of light. Do you know why the moon is shining? It's because the sun is shining on it, and then it reflects the light from the sun back at Earth. So the moon actually isn't lit up like the sun is, but it just reflects. It's kind of like a mirror and bounces the light back towards Earth. A mirror reflects your smiling face. It can also be used to change the path of light. When a beam of light hits the shiny surface of a mirror, the light reflects off it. When you move the mirror, it changes the direction in which the light beam travels. Maybe we'll have to play around with that too. All right, I'm going to skip over just a little bit. A light can travel through air and water because they are transparent. Transparent matter lets light pass through it. Let me read that again. Transparent matter lets light pass through it. It does not block light. Windows are transparent. The sun streams through your window and shines on your face. Other matter blocks some of the light and lets some light move through it. Matter that allows some light to pass through is called translucent. Plastic milk jugs are translucent. You can tell that there is milk inside the jug, but you can't see the milk clearly. Stained glass is also translucent, so some light comes through, but not all. And also balloons, because we can kind of see through a balloon, but we can't see through everything perfectly. Ooh, here's what we're talking about, blocking light. Some matter blocks the light. No light can pass through it at all. Matter that blocks light is called opaque. Some of the things you see around you are opaque. Walls and wooden doors are opaque. Tables and chairs are opaque. You are opaque too. When light hits an opaque object, the object blocks the light. Blocking the light makes a dark area behind the object where the light cannot reach. This area is called a shadow. Do you see the little girl's shadow behind her? I do too. Ooh, and here's really what we're learning about sun and shadows. The sun makes shadows on Earth. It shines down from the sky and lights the world. When trees, houses, and other matter block the sunlight, shadows are formed. Without the sun, we would not have shadows. So here's our light source from the sun. Here's the sun, and then it goes by the tree, and the tree blocks some of the light to make a shadow. On the move, your body blocks the sun and creates shadows all around you. When the sun shines in front of you, you see a shadow behind you. When the sun shines behind you, you see a shadow in front of you. Shadows move and change as you run and play in the sunshine. And down here it says, if you stood outside in one place for several hours, your shadow would move. This happens because the sun's position above you changes throughout the day. And I actually did this experiment yesterday. And so check this out. Hello friends. Have you ever noticed that your shadow seems to change throughout the day? Sometimes your shadow looks really long, sometimes your shadow looks short, and sometimes you might not even see your shadow at all. Well, today we're going to do a simple experiment that you can do at home too, where we're going to see how our shadow moves throughout the day. So right now it's morning time. I'm still in my PJs and I am outside in my backyard and I'm looking at my shadow and it is really, really long. Can you see how long it is? It's taller than I am. So what we're going to do today, we're going to trace my shadow with chalk. We're going to trace my shadow in the morning. We're going to trace my shadow at lunchtime and then also in the evening. And I'm going to make sure that I stay in the same spot every time. I marked an X on the concrete, so I am going to stay in the same spot all the time. And then we're going to see how the shadow changes throughout the day. All right, friends, so I had to get Mr. Stobbs to help me, and he is going to come and trace my shadow. So I'm going to stand very still while he traces over my shadow. Thank you, Mr. Stobbs. He's going to watch carefully, and he's watching where my shadow is. Oh, do you hear the neighborhood dogs barking? They're saying, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, my shadow looks so big. Thank you, Mr. Stobbs. Wowee! It looks so tall right now. Can you see it? Can you see how tall it is? Wow, well we're gonna come back later today and see how our shadow, or my shadow, has changed. All right, friends, now it is noon. It is 12 o'clock, and I want to see how my shadow has changed. Remember this morning, my shadow was this way. You can still see it, I think, on the video. And it's long, and my shadow is not there anymore. Now my shadow is over here. It's over here, so it looks like our shadows are moving. So Mr. Stobbs is going to come back over, and he's using a different piece of chalk now to trace my shadow over here. It's a little hard to see because the tree is also making a little bit of shadow, but he's going to do his best. And Oliver thinks it's pretty fun too. He's going to chase the chalk. All right, so my friends, now we have two different shadow outlines. And again, this is something you can do at home. We're going to do it one more time this evening right before the sun sets. Where do you think my shadow is going to be? This morning it was in front of me. Now it's kind of to the side of me. So where do you think my shadow is going to be this evening? Well, we'll come back and check in a few hours. All right, friends, so we are out here for a third time to measure or to see how long my shadow is and how my shadow has changed. Remember, this morning, my shadow was out in front of me. And I remember that the sun was behind me. So the sun was behind me and my shadow was in front of me. At lunchtime, I remember that my shadow was over there. I remember it actually being kind of blocked by this tree, and my shadow was over here. Now I see that the sun is in front of me. It was not in front of me earlier today. That's why I'm wearing my sunglasses right now, and I wasn't wearing my sunglasses earlier in the day. But now the sun is hitting me right in the face. And so I wonder where my shadow is going to be now. So I'm going to try to look, and I see it's right behind me. My shadow is behind me. And also, oh my goodness, this morning my shadow was very, very long. At lunchtime, my shadow was pretty short. And now my shadow is really, really long too. So I'm going to have Mr. Stobbs come over, and he's going to trace my shadow again. And he's going to have a little bit of a hard time because my head is even off of the concrete. So Mr. Stobbs, come on over. Come on down, Mr. Stobbs. And he's going to trace over my shadow. And I think I hear Oliver. Oliver's coming back. Oliver's very interested in this chalk, aren't you, buddy? Thank you, Mr. Stobbs. Wow, so I see that my shadow is really, really long. It also looks even a little bit skinnier than some of the other shadows. The shadow this morning was a little bit fatter, and this one right here, again, was not as skinny, and it was really, really short. But my shadow right now is really skinny, and it's really, really long. So I'm wondering if it has to do with the position of the sun, because I see that right now that I'm gonna grab Oliver because he sees a dog barking. I'm gonna pick him up, or he sees a dog. I know that this morning the sun was behind me, and now in my shadow this morning was in front of me. I know that at lunchtime my shadow was over to the side, and that the sun was over to the side, and my shadow was on this side of me. And now the sun is in front of me, and my shadow is behind me. So I'm wondering if that is something that we need to take note of to know where the source of light is, and then where our shadow is. I think we'll find out some more about that later. Now, I do want to remind you though that it doesn't mean that the sun is moving. Remember, we talked about that last week, that whenever the sun looks like it's moving through the sky, it's actually not the sun moving, it's us moving. So remember, on Earth is spinning like this all day long. And so I think that it matters where the sun is because of where it's hitting the Earth. And I think that affects the shadows. So let's go back to our book, and we're going to find out more about shadows. Wasn't that cool? Wasn't it neat to see how my shadow moved throughout the day? I thought that was a really neat experiment, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And now remember, whenever it looks like the sun is moving throughout the sky, right? And we said that it looked like that was happening as my shadow was moving. But does the sun really move? It doesn't. We talked about this last week, that really the sun always stays in one place, but the Earth is moving. The Earth goes around the sun like this, but also every day the Earth is spinning like that. And as we spin, it makes it look like the sun is in a different spot. And as we spin, and the sunlight hits us in a different way, and that makes our shadows appear like they're moving. I thought that was really cool. And I hope you do that at home too. All right, well, the very last page of our book is actually just an idea for an experiment that we're going to do. And it's just testing different materials to see what sorts of shadows they make. So we're going to do that. We're going to get a flashlight, and I'm going to grab a whole bunch of other materials, and we're going to shine a light through all of the different materials to see what sort of shadows we make. So are you ready? All right, this is going to be so much fun. All right, friends, so we are ready for our experiment. I have the lights off in my room, but I also have the curtains open just a little bit so that you can actually see me. And we're going to use our flashlight to make some shadows against the wall. So let's see what sorts of shadows we make. And also let's see if there are any objects that let the light through and don't block it. That's going to be something pretty cool too. So I'm going to start with a cute little hedgehog puppet. I really like hedgehogs. So I'm going to put him against the wall. And look, do you see the shadow? It kind of looks like the hedgehog. And if I turn it this way, oh, you can see his little paws and his little nose. That makes a pretty good shadow. And you can even see his fluffy hair too. That's pretty cool. All right, let's try a balloon. Let's see if I can grab it. Okay, so I have a balloon that's inflated, and I'm going to shine the light through it. What do you notice about the shadow? What color is it? The shadow is kind of green. So do you think that some of the light is getting through? Yes, the light from our light source is going through the object and hitting the surface. It's blocking some of the light, but it's not blocking all of the light because the shadow is changing colors. That is really cool. And look, I can even make the shadow move. Whenever I move the light source, the shadow moves too. And watch what happens if I go farther away. What happens to the shadow? It got smaller. What if I go a little bit closer? It got really, really big. So it matters where the light source is to make a different type of shadow. Pretty cool. All right, let's see. How about just a pencil? Do you think that the light will be blocked by the pencil? Let's test it out. Oh, I see it. I'm gonna move it down here a little bit so you can see it too. There's that pencil, I can move it. And again, if I go farther away, it gets smaller. But if I move closer, oh my goodness, that pencil got really big. Wow. All right, let's keep on going. Ooh, what about just a glass jar? Let's see what happens when I shine the light through the glass jar. Look at that. Is it going through? It might be hard to see. Maybe I can turn it kind of this way, or maybe tilt it that way. There we go. Can you see the shadow? Again, some of the light is getting blocked by the glass, but a lot of it is going through, and we can kind of see the outline of the glass. Maybe if I turn it this way, ooh, it changes it because there's a sticker on the bottom. If I turn it this way, that's pretty cool. Now, I also wanted to know what would happen if I poured some water in this glass. So I have a cup filled with water right here, and I'm going to pour some water into the glass. All right, let's see how that changes our shadow. Can you see? Can you see the water moving? So again, the water's going through, or the light is going through the water, but it's getting blocked a little bit. That is really cool. So that's something you could try at home too. That's pretty awesome. All right, we have a few more things to try. Ooh, what about a pipe cleaner? Let's see. Look at it. You can even see the little spikes on it, right? Kind of like with the hedgehog. You can see all the little details. I hope you can see it. I can see it close up right here, but I hope the camera is picking it up too. Pretty cool. All right, what about my sunglasses? Ooh. I don't need to wear them in here because it's so dark in here. But let's see what happens when I shine the light through my sunglasses. Look at that. Let me hold them up a little bit different. A little bit. You can really see the shadow of the parts that go over my nose and over my ears. But the parts in the middle, they kind of change. It's kind of like the balloon. They let some of the light through, but not all. Wow, that's pretty cool too. All right, we have a few more things. What about a piece of white paper? Do you think the light will go through the white paper? Let's see. Ooh, it doesn't look like it is right now, but what if I go through it? Actually, can you see this? Can you see that the light is kind of going through the white paper? It makes a shadow whenever I go far away, but whenever I go closer, you can still see the light behind it, can't you? What about if we use construction paper? A darker piece of paper. Let's see if the same thing happens. Okay, here's the shadow. Is there any light that's going through? Not really, maybe a little bit, because it does look a little purple behind here. What if I go like this? Oh, you can see it come through, just a little bit. That's kind of cool looking, isn't it? This could be a cool magic trick that you could do. It looks like almost like the sun going through the sky. But look at the difference between that and the white paper. The white paper, the whole thing kind of lets the light through. But the construction paper, it's much more focused. It's a much smaller little hole. That's pretty cool looking. All right, I have one more thing that I'm excited to test out, and it is a magnet block. Have you ever played with these magnet blocks? They're pretty awesome, and they're kind of see-through. Like I can kind of see through it right now. This one's red, but it's not solid. It's not opaque. It's kind of translucent. So let's see what happens when I shine a light through that. Look, you can see that it's turning red. So again, some of the light is going through but some of it is getting blocked by the object. So it's making a red shadow instead, which is pretty cool. Awesome. Now, my friends, you can also remember, you can always test out your hand and make different shadow puppets too, right? That's always pretty fun to do. But I want you to explore this week with shadows. I want you to see if you can move your light source away, what happens, and move it closer. What happens? If you move your light source over on this side, where's the shadow? It's on the opposite side of your object that you are trying to make a shadow of. So my friends, I want you to remember that whenever you want to make a shadow, you always need a light source. You need an object that you're going to try to make a shadow and a surface. And wherever the light source is, the shadow is going to be on the opposite side of that object. So right now, my light source is over here, so my shadow's over on this side. But watch what happens when I bring it over here. It's over on this side now. And if I move it this way, watch how the shadow's moving just whenever I move the light. That's pretty cool. So if you are ever wondering why you have a shadow around you, look at where the shadow is and then look in the opposite direction and you'll find your light source. It might be the sun, it might be a lamp, it might even be a flashlight. Wow. So my friends, we have had so much fun exploring with shadows today. I hope that you go outside and you look for your shadow. And in the morning, it might be really long. In the evening, it might be really long. But if you go out around lunchtime in the middle of the day, your shadow will probably be pretty short. And also, you can easily do this experiment at home. All you need is a flashlight, something to shine your light on, and stuff from around your house. So I hope that you have fun, and I'll see you next week right here on Room 9. Bye!
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.